everybody, my name is Mars. You can call me MG if you would like, and today I have for you my February wrap-up and March TBR. I almost said March wrap-up. We are not there yet. We are wrapping up February and then talking about the books that I will be reading in March, and I have a few already on the list that I am planning on reading. But before we get into that, we have to talk about the books that I already read in February, and there are quite a few, so why don't we just get on with that? The first book that I picked up was The Invaders by John Flanagan. This is book 2 in the Brother Band Chronicles. I'm continuing on with my read of this series where I pick up one book a month, and to no one's surprise, it's super fun. I really enjoyed it. I did have some issues. We get introduced to Lydia, who becomes a main cast member in this book, and she's very not like other girls. Like, I'm pretty sure that phrase is exactly used in this book, and I get it. This is a fantasy aimed at young boys that was published in 2012, so, like, I'm not surprised that's there, but I'm a little bit disappointed. Besides that, though, I had a great time. I'm excited to have Lydia in the main cast going forward because before this, there was no female characters in the main cast, and really the only female character we saw was the main character, Hal's mother. And she's great and all, but like, we need more women. That's definitely like my biggest ick with all of John Flanagan's series is that it's so male focused, but like they're still really fun, and I had a great time reading this, and I can't wait to read book 3 in March. The next book I picked up was an ebook, and that was From Below by Darcy Coates, which I gave a 9 out of 10 immediately after reading it, but upon further contemplation, I probably would have rated it a little bit lower. It was good. It was scary, but going back and thinking on it, it didn't really hit the expectations that I had for it. So this is a nautical horror book. It's about a bunch of people who are filming this documentary, and they go on these dives down to this like sunken ship that had these rumors about it, and that it was good. There was a lot of like terrifying things that I did enjoy, but there was also like stuff set up that they didn't really deliver on. Like, for example, the entire like first chunk of the book gives such an emphasis on the importance of like oxygen and like taking your time going back up from these dives because they're diving so deep that you need to like take breaks and let your body recover from the pressure that it's under when you're that low. And like if you don't, then your body like kind of self-destructs, but then that never like comes to fruition in any way. Like it kind of just doesn't matter. And that's like one thing that I was kind of like meh about. Also, the ending wasn't the best, but I still had a great time while reading it, so I'm going to honor the 9 out of 10 rating that I gave it like immediately after finishing it, because so much of a rating, in my opinion, when I rate books is dependent on the experience. Like obviously the like technical aspects of a book matter, but if I enjoy a book, it doesn't really matter too much if it's not perfect. Anyway, that was From Below. I had a great time while reading it. Definitely going to continue reading more Darcy Coates as the time comes. Then we have The Lunar Chronicles by Marissa Meyer. So we have book 1 is Cinder, book 2 is Scarlet, book 3 is Cress, book 4 is Winter, and then down here Fairest is a prequel novella that's kind of like a villain origin story, and these are the books that I read. I had a fantastic time with this series. I'm not going to go into detail on this, partially because this is very heavy to hold up and I don't want to do that for several minutes, but also because I vlogged my experience of reading this, so I will link that down below for you guys to check out if you want. I will also link the Nostalgia Train book club discussion that we had, because Cinder was the book club pick for the month of February, so you can check that out if you would like to. And I'm going to put this down now before I break my hands. After reading such an intense and in-depth series as The Lunar Chronicles, I wanted something a little bit lighter, so I picked up the Penguin Book of Women Poets, which is a poetry collection of women poets from all across time and many, many countries, and this is edited by Carol Cosman, Joan Keefe, and Kathleen Weaver, and I had such a fantastic time reading this. There are several poems in here that I thought were absolutely incredible, and I definitely want to go back and reread this in the future. Take my time, read it a little bit slower, maybe a couple of poems here and there, and annotate this book. That's how much I had a great time reading this. The 3 books that I read after that, I am also not going to give you any details on the same way as the Lunar Chronicles because they were for a vlog, and those books are By a Thread by Lucy Score, Ice Planet Barbarians by Ruby Dixon, and Butcher and Blackbird by Bryn Weaver. This was for a romance taste test vlog that actually isn't out yet. It should be out next week, so keep your eyes peeled for that. It was full of many surprises, that is what we'll say. But yeah, it certainly was a strange experience. We can say that much. And then the last book that I want to talk to you about is actually a manga, and that is Noragami. I am technically still reading this series, but I only have like 5 or 6 volumes left. I think I've read 21, 22 volumes, something like that. And so I've only got a handful left. I'm definitely going to be getting those finished by the end of the month, but I am just having a fantastic time reading this. I loved the anime when I watched it a couple of years ago. Really wish they continued on with that, but it only had 2 seasons. But the final chapter of Noragami just came out in January, so I'm like, perfect time to binge read this. So that's what I've been doing, and it's so good. I've given every volume either a 9 or a 10 because they've just been so good, and I'm in the home stretch now, the final arc, only a few more volumes, and I'm so excited to finish this up. So now that we've talked about all of the books that I read in February, it's time to pick our March reads, or pick my March reads. I guess you guys don't have to read these books, but I have my deck of cards here. We're going to split it, let's go here I guess, just so you know I'm not cheating and putting specific cards on top. We're going to pull 3 cards, then I'm going to go pick out books for the prompts, come back and tell you about them, and then at the end we will go over any other reads that I plan on doing in the month of March. So let's see what our cards are. We have the Wizard, always a fun one. I just really like this art. I'm gonna show it off again. Then we have the Two of Celestials, and our third and final card pull for the month is the Mystic. Okay, so I will go consult my cheat sheet of prompts, pick out some books, and I will be right back. Okay, I am back, and I have picked out some books. They're not quite what I expected out of March, but that's kind of half the fun of the game. So let's talk about the card pulls and what they gave me. So my first card pull was the Wizard, and the 2 options for this card are either a nonfiction or a craft book. And so I've gone with a nonfiction, and the book I'll be reading is Building a Second Brain by Tiago Forte, because this is the Bujo Buddies book club pick for March, so just slots right in there really nicely. Then we have the Two of Celestials, and the prompt for this is a book with stars or the moon on the cover, and I will be reading As She Ascends by Jodi Meadows, which is the sequel to Before She Ignites, and I read that book maybe last summer? I'm not quite sure, sometime last year, and was pleasantly surprised by it. It wasn't perfect, but I had a great time reading it, and I figured, why not continue on with the series? Then, for the Mystic, the prompt is a comic book or manga, and I have decided to go for a manga, and that is Monster by Naoki Urasawa. It's on my 24 books to read in 2024. I actually did start this series last August, I believe, because I'm pretty sure I read the first volume as part of the Magical Readathon. So that would have been August. And I really liked it. I'm probably going to reread volume 1 and then continue on. There's 18 volumes. I'm very sorry about my lighting, by the way. I don't know what's happening. But yeah, so my pick for the Mystic is Monster by Naoki Urasawa, and I'm excited to get to that. Besides those books, though, I have a few that I am planning to read for various reasons, so I will explain those here. First up, we have The Hunters by John Flanagan. This is book 3 in the Brother Band Chronicles. I'm just continuing on with my reading of this. This is the last one in the series that will be a reread for me. Everything going on past that is new territory, and I can't wait. I've already explained what the Bujo Buddies book club pick is. The Nostalgia Train book club pick, though, is Looking for Alaska by John Green, which I will not be reading. I've decided that I'm just going to take a pass for this month. There's actually like a whole mini event going on with the book club, so if you're into John Green, definitely check out the book club this month. It's like a week-long event, and I've read John Green before. I've read 2 or 3 of his books, and they just aren't for me, so I'm just not going to participate in the book club, and that's perfectly fine. Then for Lynn's Friend Favorites reading challenge, the book that I will be reading is The Storm of Echoes, and this is the 4th and final book in the Mirror Visitor series, and it's kind of unanimously decided in the fandom that it's the worst in the series, but I'm gonna be cautiously optimistic and hope that I really like it because I loved the first 3 books and I'm excited to be finishing it out. And then finally, for the Somber Honey reading challenge, the one that I came up with, the prompt is the word leaf or tree or some similar word in the title. And for that, I will be reading House of Leaves by Mark Z. Danielewski, one of my most anticipated reads ever since I found it in a free little library last year. I cannot wait to be picking this up. She's thick, she's weird. This is like a bad example, but like here there's only text on the bottom. There's like so much strange stuff. There was different colored ink and things. I don't know. I'm so excited to be reading this. I will be vlogging my experience of reading this. That's how excited I am for it. So definitely keep your eyes peeled for that coming towards the end of the month. But this is the book that I'll be reading for my own challenge. So I'm just going to hold up these 2 books since the card pulls brought me to 3 ebooks for the 2nd month in a row, which I'm not mad about. I do love ebooks, but I just like having something to hold up. Thank you for joining me in talking about my February reads and my March TBR, these 2 and like 4 or 5 other books, I don't even know, but I'm very excited for March. I don't know about you guys, but I cannot wait to read the books that I've put on my TBR, but that is all for me today. If you've enjoyed this video, please be sure to give it a big thumbs up. You can subscribe to my channel for more content, and that way I'll see you guys in the next one. Goodbye, everyone.